You get your ass back in there. You don't look back here again. I'll be watching you. You are now under investigation.
To be clear, it has not been proven that Detective Mike Jardine is or was drinking on the job.
The sun hasn't come up yet.
Why?
Because the sun comes up later.
Why?
Well, the Earth goes around, and when it turns a certain amount, the sun shows on the horizon.
Why?
I question whether he's a genius. That's what I question. Patent thief. Nikolai Tesla was the real genius. Matter of fact, he was asked, Einstein was asked once, what is it like being the smartest man in the world? And he said, I have no idea. You'd have to ask Nikolai Tesla. That is an actual quote. Look it up if you don't believe me. And yeah, it's good stuff. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, no matter when you are, where you are, who you are, how you are. This is Generally Specific with Craig, also known as Fact the Madness, and we're having frequently asked questions. Craig, would you like to say hello?
Good morning, everybody. How y'all doing? I am FAQ the Madness, Fact the Madness. Good to see you. Good to be here.
All right,
Who was in the house?
Go ahead. Please
I
do.
said a lot of people. King Bluto, Lion. I haven't met Lion, have I?
Lion is Rabbit's wife.
Oh, okay. I think I remember him saying something about her yesterday, and I was thinking that's who it is. Okay, cool.
Indeed,
Tack.
indeed.
All your peoples. Good to see you guys.
Well, your peoples too. It's our peoples, bro.
Our peoples, for sure.
Our peoples. Indeed. Uh-oh. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to be queuing up a video here in a moment. Craig, if you'd like to talk about what the premise is today, and I will be doing my best job to be a producer for you to fly, because it'd be nice for you to take a little bit more of a front seat and me to take a little bit more of a back seat. So that way we can start to learn how to figure out an equilibrium, because you are a very important part of the show. Without further ado. And let me know when I got the video on the side. Just let me know when you want me to cue it up.
So I think I put it correctly so that it's public on the other side. But yes, so yesterday, and I wanted to ask you first of all, I know you cook a lot at your house. So how do you guys go about doing your your list? Do you pick it? Does she pick it? How's that go?
That's a really good question. Hello, Jenny Jones. That's a unfamiliar name. Good to see you. That's a really good question because she just kind of goes, hey, I'm heading to the store. Is there anything you want? Which is probably not smart for budgeting. She does most of the buying. I probably, because I don't look at prices, I just go, I need ribeye. I'm going to get the best looking ribeye that I can see, and I'll put it in my cart. And then, $300 later and, half of a shopping bag. So I try to not leave the house as much as possible. There's a standing joke in my home, Craig, that every time I leave the house, I spend about $100. So that's why I'm kind of a cave dweller down here.
So if I spent $100 every time I went out of the house, I'd probably be banished to the basement, like you said. So now what about where everything is stored? I mean, so tell me the dynamic between you cooking, her cooking. are you mostly cooking all the time, or is it that you cook and then she cooks some most of the time? How does that go?
I'm pretty lucky because man, she hits it out of the park. She does comfort food like, I'm talking like she's like 1.3% sub-Saharan African, so she knows how to put seasoning on things. Is what I'm trying to say, Craig.
Oh, nice. I feel you. I
But
feel
no, I
you.
mean she really does the comfort food like amazingly. So I mean, there's hardly anything. There's only one dish that she makes that I really don't like because it's something about a smell, and it's she likes this chicken dish with cream cheese and Brussels sprouts, and the way it's all cooked together, it makes me want to just throw up.
Wait, so let me guess. You don't like the consistency of the Brussels sprouts? Like, is it too mushy?
I don't mind Brussels sprouts. I think it's just I think there's ranch in it, and I think I just think between the cream cheese, the ranch, and the Brussels sprouts and the chicken, I think it just creates this like tangy kind of, for me, what I'm not a big fan of, but she absolutely loves it. And something about the way it smells too in the oven. It's kind of like I love corned beef hash. She thinks it smells like
Mm.
dog or cat food.
Yeah,
So
I like it too, actually.
yeah, I love it. So, I mean, I don't know if I answered your question, but she does.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll shop whenever I need to shop. I just hardly leave the house, and it's usually safer for the world if I stay inside.
Well, so all of those questions basically kind of as a premise to the reason why I brought the video that we have. But so
Mhm.
a couple of things. Eliza, my wife to be, she eats a certain way, like keto friendly diet, those kind of things, and very different than what I eat. But she cooks very well. She cooks for things that I like to eat all the time. In fact, when she left for a number of days for work, I couldn't find the things that we had in the pantry because I don't cook very often.
Mhm.
So fast forward to yesterday, which is kind of why the video exists, is I was at the store, and previously on Saturday, or maybe it was Sunday, we went to Costco, and she was going to get because I use margarine on everything. I use margarine.
No
So,
margarine,
yes,
not butter.
margarine.
Okay, I'm gonna change your mind.
Okay,
I'm gonna
so
pause you here.
okay.
Margarine, the process of hydrogenizing, do some research. It's only a couple steps removed from it being the plastic bag that you carry your groceries home in. No joke.
Exactly what she says. So
Okay, well, you
so
should listen
what do
because
you?
she sounds like a really smart lady.
She is absolutely bright. So with that in mind, this
Mhm.
is the dilemma, and it will probably equalize when we get to the end of the day. Have you heard of the product? I can't believe it's not butter.
Yes,
Is it the same thing or
I
slightly different?
don't know because I just absolutely love unsalted butter more than anything else on the face of the planet.
Okay.
Well,
All right.
heavy cream is the second. Man, I can make butter with that. So I have
Well,
heard of. My mom and dad were big time into country crock. That was their jam. Yep.
you're gonna see it. You're gonna see. So that
All right, that's
that
okay.
is my jam, country crock. Well, so country crock. So wait, you're saying that they liked it and that was margin, right? So we're
Oh
on the
yeah.
same page. That's margin. Okay. I love country crock, and her thing is if you're gonna do it and not be butter, is let's do. I can't believe it's not butter. So
Okay.
that prefaces the video and the dilemma that I had, and then we'll go from there after we watch it. I think you have access to it now. So country crock is plastic. Rats to the moon said.
That I'm just. It's. I mean, it's not. I'm being a little I'm being a little hyperbolic, but it's pretty close.
Well,
Um,
she actually says exactly what you said, that you might as well be eating plastic.
oops.
In fact, we all know what my intro looks like. If you want to skip past it, I didn't even write it. I should have done it. Next time I'll do that so we can just get past it. But
I'm not skipping past it, dude. Everyone loves your intro. You talking? I love your intro. I chair dance to your intro.
I like seeing
All right,
you
here
chair
we go.
dance, so it's all good.
You ready?
You look mighty handsome today, by the way.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
Welcome back to FAQ the
Oh,
Net.
it's hilarious, dude.
We
We were just talking
respectfully
about this.
exercise our First
All
Amendment.
right, you said I look handsome today or I look okay today.
Yeah, you look handsome. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
and shout out to you for having probably a fairly big high noon. All of them are important, but I think I'm looking forward to the one that you're going to have soon. So
Oh, you should wait to see what I got picked out for my high noon. I was gonna wear the same thing to both, but I was like, no, that's tacky. I'm gonna give Craig his own individual look outfit,
why?
like an
Thank
outfit for
you.
Craig.
I get to.
Get it right.
If
With
only I
polished
could smell you.
interactions.
Actually, it's obsession for men. I don't see my wife in here. I told her I was going live. I hope she's feeling all right. She said she's home with a stomach ache right now.
With government officials through the
Sure,
unbiased
she'd like to say
view
hello.
of a camera. Let's jump into another rep.
Recording.
Awkward silence here.
I got to learn how to do all that. So, okay, so we got. You want to read
You
this?
can pause. Yeah. So we have Country Crock. In this case, for this size that was in Walmart, I happened to be in Walmart.
Mm-hmm.
Wally World was 4 pounds, 3.5 ounces. It cost $7.83, and it indicates that it's 38% vegetable oil. The I can't believe it's not butter was 2 pounds, which was the biggest size that they had, comparable to the next size, which was the Country Crock, 2 pounds, 13 ounces, $8.90, and 45% vegetable oil.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So, on the surface, tell me in your mind, if anything, what comes to mind when you look at these numbers?
Well, there's a lot more weight to the Country Crock, and there's a lot less. Well, hold on. Okay, so now you got to understand something. What's 38% of 4 pounds versus what's 45% of 2 pounds?
Okay, so on the surface, your mind is thinking the way my mind began to think.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
Okay.
First of all, 4 pounds is what is 38% of that, et cetera, et cetera. So the math of it all came to my mind, and we probably have some math scholars in our chat. So anybody who wants to weigh in on where my mind is going, you can probably see where it is. But that's along the lines of where I began thinking.
Okay. So you want me to? I'm going to proceed. Is that all right?
Yep, you can. Yep.
All right. And I got something else loaded up, kind of going along the lines of this. So we'll jump to that after we have our conversation about this.
Perfect.
And you just let me know when you want me to pause it.
Yep.
Sometimes I feel like I'm losing my mind.
So, my fiance, I know she loves me, and she is having me purchase. I can't believe it's not butter. Versus what I would normally buy, which is this.
All right, I'm going to pause it here. So there have been a few times that my beloved has sent me to the store to buy things. And let's just say it's lady feminine things. She wrote it in cursive because she does not print. I could barely make out or understand what it was. I went to the aisle where all those things are, where all those bright colors and different packagings are. And I felt like I was lost in the jungle. I had to get in the beginning, I had to get like a female Sherpa at Walmart, mind you. And I said, ma'am, my wife does the shop. And I'm like, can you just, I'm not trying to be weird or creepy, but can you direct me to where the feminine product is? She's just kind of chuckled. And I was like, do you know what these words are? Because I don't know what she's talking about. And it was like some kind of maxi this or maxi mini that, I don't know. And so she's just chuckling, because it's when I say you got to send me to the store with a note pinned to my chest, I'm not joking. Okay. So that other women can rescue me out of my ignorance, but go ahead.
So I don't know how far I zoomed in. You might not be able to see it all, but on the bottom left-hand corner in this cart is nearly the same type of situation which you're talking about. She also sent me with a picture of something that she needed. But the caveat, if you will, to that whole thing is that when I was like 16 years old, I'm almost 54 now.
Mm-hmm.
I worked for a place called Long's Drugs in California, San Diego. And I was the manager of a group of products, including feminine products. So I actually had a time in my life where I was kind of familiar with that stuff. But to your point, I did need to have a picture because I didn't want to be going and come back with something crazy. So,
yep.
So,
well, men like first off, we like missions. Don't get it twisted, ladies. We love it when you send us on missions
Oh yeah,
because
and,
we're
and to come back
expecting
and
maybe
to come back successful for sure.
and then maybe a little pat on the head, and then maybe a little other kind of head. I mean, pats on the
Mhm.
head. Anyway, I'm just saying,
Mhm.
just speaking out loud.
Versus what I would normally buy, which is this. And her claim is that this is so much worse than this. So my question is this: why is this 45%?
Oh, do you see how the FDA told you that? Oh, this is better for you, and this is listen. All that food that our government is giving us is killing us.
Well, so
Go ahead.
along the lines, so my thought process in this whole thing. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's not like I go to the store and I have these life altering moments, but I know who I talk to, once or twice a week, that being you. And I
Mhm.
can think exactly what you just pointed out, which is this is what they tell us. And this is what the package says, etc. But even still, like I'm not saying that she has been duped, but at the end of the day, when it comes down to the way I look at these things, it's not as all perfect and peachy and green as it seems. So
Yeah.
I mean, I'm with you on some level that we are being told X and we don't necessarily even look into it any further than what we're told.
Yeah, I would agree with that statement. I'm trying to find. There we go. I'm trying to find this because I kind of want to match. Well, why would it be like that? Hold on. Let me play your video real quick. Excuse me. Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mute in
45%
time.
vegetable oil spread versus 38% vegetable oil spread. And we're only talking about 7% difference. But the 7% is out of 4 pounds versus 2 pounds.
Okay, so we're on the same wavelength.
Yeah.
So help me do the math as I make a life decision with regards to whether or not I'm going to listen to my wife to be and come back home with the right stuff. She already makes me buy this stuff, which is lactase.
Oh well. All right, you and I are gonna have to have a conversation. I'm gonna harden you up.
All right.
First off, my wife don't make me do anything. If she tries, she soon comes to regret even trying. That's why she hardly talks to me because she's like, I could just do it myself with less stress, and he won't give me any shit. So I got to teach you to make your life a little more peaceful, man. Key
I have
ingredient.
a fairly peaceful life.
But if you mess up the laundry one time, especially if it's something that your wife likes, she'll never ask you to do it again.
Do you do
That's
laundry?
one way to. No, that's what I'm saying.
I don't either.
Yeah, but what I'm just giving you examples of how you can you can
I feel you.
sabotage your way to success, man. That's what I'm trying to
Oh,
say.
I see what you're saying. Oh, okay, I got you. I got you. I feel you.
Lactose intolerant type milk. But the out date is way longer than regular milk, so I'm going to freeze that. So I bought 2 of those. This is still my dilemma. So I'm going to be an obedient man. I'm going to be an obedient man. And
You didn't let her see this, did you?
No, she hasn't seen it yet. But I told her,
a little snark in it.
I said, honey, I said, you're gonna want to watch this one because it has you in it. She's like, what? Don't put me in a video. And I said, she said something. I said, I haven't married you yet. That's our new thing. For the last month, we've been saying, I haven't married you yet. So
That's hilarious.
I'm going to purchase.
Excuse me.
And I can't believe it's not butter stuff. They are not a sponsor, and neither is Country Crock. But Country Crock, you might be thinking about giving me a sponsorship because I would have chosen you. All right. Talk to you later. Peace.
I love it.
thank you for watching. If you have a video you'd like for us to cover,
That's hilarious, dude. All right, here we go. Oh, what?
So
What happened?
even when I'm not in your presence, I'm thinking about something that you and I can talk about. So
That is
that's
absolutely
shout
hilarious,
out
dude.
shout out to our growing friendship of this came. Oh, this would be great for Todd and I to talk on the show.
Indeed.
Damn, what do we eat? What kind of decisions you make in Walmart? I can't believe it's not butter or butter crock or country crock.
It's kind of hilarious because it's like I think we are the women in the channel aren't chatting much anymore. It's like they're in rapt silence. I've seen 2 comments the whole time that I was watching that video. They are actually intrigued with how men think. Apparently, they want to know like what does he do? What are the tricks that they do when we send them to the store? What are they? All right, so here we go. This guy.
Do you know what's in your cheap protein powder? Well, here to tell us is all natural fitness athlete Paul
Let's check this guy out. I haven't vetted this, so we'll see.
Today's video is on the seed oil you should never ever eat, but also some seed oils.
Can you hear him okay? I feel like I can't hear him. Okay.
Maybe a little louder.
This sort of hierarchy.
Yeah, it's as loud as I can make it.
Okay.
We also need to understand what the actual
Maybe.
problem is, because there is a ton of confusion out there. With seed oils, we used to think, and if you had to ask me 5 or 6 years ago, it's what I probably would have thought, that they were high omega-6 and that made them very inflammatory. That's not so much the case anymore.
All right, I can't hear this dude. So I need to do a different one. Here we go. This guy looks like a muscle head. Our seed oil is bad for your health.
And by the way, I sent you access to the Google Docs. Maybe I can just paste it what it is that I want to say, the final kind of crux of what it is I want to say about that.
Oh, let me bring it up. I'm curious.
Well,
if I can
it's kind of
figure it out.
outlined in a way that, you know, like show notes, if you will, but basically topic 1 is what we're talking about, and then I did the math and all that stuff, so you can put it up. It's fine. I didn't.
Oh, when did you send this? Just a minute ago?
No, I sent it to you like just in reply to your giving me the
I
link.
never even looked at the dang thing. I'm so sorry, dude. Look at me being unprepared. So there's a Google Docs, so I can copy that link, right? This is kind of new for me. You're like Sherpering me through this as well. Oh, I never did finish my story.
Oh yeah.
So I talked to. That's all right. So I talked to this lady, and I'm like, ma'am, I said, you know, basically, can you direct me to this? How you doing, Howard County Observer? Good to see you. I said, ma'am, can you direct me to where the feminine products are? And I can't read her writing. What is this exactly? Because, you know, if you don't get the right size, the right brand, the right texture, any number of things, then, you know, of course, you failed your mission. And so she pointed me in the right direction, and she was kind of giggling like you are. This thing needs to stop resetting. It's really getting annoying. So she kind of sent me in the right direction, like, you know, and giggled like you did, you know, kind of like thought it was pretty hilarious. So I get there, and I'm no better off, and I'm like looking at just an entire array of like different colored things, right? And boxes and things that they're all tampoons and they're all pads and they're all of this and Massengil that, and then so I'm like, yeah, it's like a harpoon but for tamps.
Yeah.
And so I get there, and luckily there was a couple. Luckily there was a couple of the ladies just hanging out in the aisle. So I asked, and they were chuckling at me, and they thought it was sweet that I was willing to do that for their woman, and yeah. So I'm sitting there, and I'm like, so she helped me, and I'm glad she did, because man, I could have spent an hour there and probably still not found the right thing. I don't know how you ladies do it. I don't know how you can zero in on it. It's a pretty interesting skill. But I don't know. I guess maybe I should have left the story where it was, because I was a little anticlimactic. But anyway, I had to have a feminine hygiene product Sherpa, and promise her that I wasn't trying to be a creep. Like I wasn't into women talking about feminine products. You know, some people like feet. I like it when you talk about tampons. All right. Anyway, so yeah, this is topic 1. Okay. So okay. All right.
I'm about to drop you another video. It's 30 seconds long.
Sure.
And it's almost uncanny. Wait here. I just type in here. It's almost uncanny.
Hmm.
The dynamic that let's see, allow anyone with a link to view, don't give access. Yes, send. How it is that you and we do things, because you're going to be amazed when you open up this video. You can just open it up and be fine with it. But anyway, so sorry.
I'm gonna put a little bit of feed the
I
ducks on in
digress.
the background. I digress. All right. I've yet to get it. Did you send it to me on the phone?
No, I sent it to you.
Email?
Yes, email.
Oh, okay, Roger. Oh, there it is. I see it. Oh, hold on. I got. Oh, yeah, that was my hell, dude. Hold on. Let me get it. That's exactly it, dude. I was like, did you take this video? And you were like,
I did it the same day that I did the margarine thing. So
it doesn't have
it
like
all.
How do I? All right, let me download it,
Yeah.
because we could use that in the future. that'll be on an intro. Trying to figure out women. This is why women don't know what they want. Look at all the damn choices that they have. This is why it takes a woman a half hour to pick out a freaking TV show.
It's like chicken or steak. I mean, come on, that's all I need. Just give me a choice.
Let me see. So I'm gonna stop sharing that video file. Downloads. There it is.
When is my beard ever gonna get as big as yours, dude? Never.
If you stop playing with it, it'll grow on its own, man. That's what my
well,
dad
and
told
then
me.
I shaved it for the funeral, but yeah. So it's no, this is going back too, but
Video has a unique code that your browser doesn't support. Oosh. Hold on. Why don't you share it on your? Oh, hold on. I can share it like this. 1 second. I'm gonna share it this way. I don't really want to dox you though. Well, here we go. They can't see you. Oh, hold on. Hold on. Okay. Hold on. I'm coming. Nope, not a video file. Duct tape production. I don't know what to tell you.
If it's you got it.
Yeah, we'll
There you
figure it
go.
out. It takes a second.
30 seconds of confusion.
Yeah, this encapsulates it perfectly, guys. This is what you don't understand when you send your man on a mission, on a tunnel mission. When you send your little ranger on a tunnel mission, you better make sure he's wrapped up with his proper PPE, because there's things out there that Ajax won't scrub off, man.
And by the way, the product that I needed to get is all the way down at the end, towards the right, and I did literally go right to it.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I went onto this aisle, I took a peek, and then I went towards the end, and bam, it was right there. So
that's kind of impressive. Maybe I just didn't try, or maybe I just enjoy embarrassing women.
Let's see. I might have turned around. I can't remember if I looked here.
Yep.
And then bam. Oh no! Wait. So I must not have seen it there. I went. Oh wait, maybe I did. And it's there. So
he's like 27 seconds. Booyah!
That's how long it took me.
You scouted it out ahead of time.
Oh, dude, I kept it real.
That.
We full disclosure, Jack. I was right there. That's exactly you got what you saw.
All right. Well, you never know what you're going to get with this conversation. Okay, so you wanted to talk about doxing, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And then so
I do want to let you know that seed oils are toxic. So you might want to do some research on that. I'm
so
a little
it's
old
seed,
school with it too.
That's what it is. Seed oil.
Well, here we go. Let's see. Let's see if I can.
Age of 55. So I've decided.
So what I'm wondering is, where did we transition in time in the last couple of decades where
try to put a little pin
seed oils were forward, leading from the front, and we've kind of eliminated.
Well, I want you to think about something. Do you remember how good McDonald's fries used to be when they used to deep fry them in beef tallow?
Back in the day,
they were otherworldly, delicious. So they switched them from beef tallow to basically canola oil or a blend of different oils. But here we go.
A lot of beef fat, or it's been considered
lard, beef fat, yep.
unhealthy.
It's not.
And where do you think that transition happened in the last couple of years?
Oh, it's pretty clear. The history of this is fascinating. There was no such thing as a seed oil before 1870, and then it was first used as a machine lubricant. So they would grind up seeds and use the oil as a machine lubricant. It wasn't really popularized for human consumption until 1910, 1911 with Crisco. We have a story about Crisco we could tell later, but this was, I believe, they had this excess machine lubricant, and they were thinking like, oh, let's use this for human consumption. This will be great. It doesn't spoil as well. It's cheaper. It's lighter. And it didn't really catch on until I think the 1950s. And I'll tell that part of the story in a moment. But if you look at human health, and of course, 1910, 1900, 1870, 1890, not quite the same as we have now with medicine, but we had records, right? We pretty much knew what a heart attack was. And heart attacks were very rare. Diabetes, very rare. Obesity, very rare. There's photos from even 60.
So yeah, I've made this note myself quite a few times. If you look at the average picture of a soldier going off to war in the 1950s, they had a hard time filling out a small uniform. I mean, they were real thin. And nowadays they all look like me, or worse. I mean, I'm technically considered to be morbidly obese for my height and my weight total, but I've always had to get taped in the military.
I'll give you my stats if you give me yours. Mine are I'm 6'2" and 230.
Yeah, I've chopped down a few trees in my time. I'll just put it down. I'm a lumberjack. I'm wearing my shirt. No, I'm only, well, I used to be 5'8" or 5'8.5", and now I'm like 5'7.5". No, I'm 5'8". I used to be 5'9" because I jumped that airplane, so I lost some spinal
cushioning in your spine.
Yeah, so I'm like 5'8", like 215.
All right. Yeah, this is the heaviest I've been, and I've been motivated by seeing Jericho Green getting up in the morning to lose 50 pounds. And I was just thinking yesterday, I was like, he's getting up at like 6:30, I think what he says. That's like 8, 9 my time. I think I'm gonna start doing something and kind of go back and forth. So I'm gonna hashtag him with a video.
Yeah, we should shout him out we should mention him on every time we get up and do it too, man. I think I'll join you, man. I think we should start a movement. How funny would that be?
I know, right? And I do have to get into a suit in a couple of weeks, so we got to get back down to my daughter's wedding's weight.
I just look at it like this. I have to be able to run away from the CCP dogs. All the deer leaders going to send their dogs to try to eat us. So, what's up, Dove? Good to see you. Good to see you in here. Why does it have a chain next to your? That's weird. It says, hi, can anyone see people talking in my TV but not in chat? Yeah, I was wondering where Dove was. I finally see her. Yeah, it's got like a link thing to it next to your thing. I can see you now, Dove. I saw you as Dove too. Sorry about that.
I don't see her.
But it has like a chain to it. It has like a little link. I wish, like a link next to her name. I can see it. So I can link that, but it doesn't have a link there. And here's her other one. Oh, that's Wanda. Hey, Wanda Mice, good to see you. Sorry, I didn't say hi to you. We're getting into this conversation pretty good. So I can see. What's up, Walrus? Good to see you there too. All right, so here we go.
Years ago, and we look at humans, and they were much less fat than we are today.
Yeah, there we go.
Post these photos on Instagram all the time. 1950s at the beach, 1960s at the beach. It's all skinny people. But even I'm sure if you wind back even further to the 1900s, early 1900s, we had a lot of skinny people. We didn't have a lot of massive, obese, overweight humans like we do today. We can get into those numbers. They're staggering. What the combination of obesity and overweight today is enormous. But there's a clear transition in the last 100 to 110 years. Seed oils really didn't exist before, let's just say late 1800s, and then introduced into the human supply chain early 1900s. Now, along with that, again, this is all correlation, so we have to be careful. We can only draw a hypothesis from this, which we must test, and we can go into all of the lines of evidence that make me very concerned about seed oils. But these are all just observational correlations. But with the introduction of seed oils from 1910, we see a steady rise in chronic illness. All of it tracks together. Gradually increasing rates of obesity, gradually increasing rates of cancer, gradually increasing rates of heart disease, gradually increasing rates of diabetes. And the most significant data we have is probably in the last 50 years, and the trend has continued. But that trend goes all the way back to the early 1900s. Again, just correlation, but we can talk about why I think there's a really compelling hypothesis to be drawn from that. And then I think it was in the mid to early 1950s that I think it was President Lyndon Johnson had a heart attack. And at that point, people were asking it just captured the American imagination. And we thought, why did this?
It's a little housekeeping here. Dove, I don't know why you're not blocked on. I just looked at all of the people that I have blocked. It's only Master Sergeant RTL is the only one blocked on my channel.
I got you. So I didn't tell you this, but so I was testing whether or not I could or can stream at the same time that we are on the show. So I see her in the chat of, I guess, what would be my stream of this stream.
Oh, that's what it means. Okay,
Yeah.
so you're in Craig's. That's why most of the people are probably in my channel.
Yes.
So he's co-streaming. Got it. Okay, I'm glad that worked for you.
Well, so I don't know. So I wrote it down as a test, and I didn't know how to stop it. So if you tell me how to,
No, it's fine. Let it continue to play out. This is a good test.
All right. So yeah. So that's what it was. So
I got to figure out how to actually do that too. So we'll talk after this is over.
Yep.
All right.
All right.
Looks like Dove is responding to my stream. How do I stop it? I was just testing. No, don't stop it, man. Absolutely keep it going, man. That way you have access to it, man, immediately. So yeah, I got to figure out how to do that, because I know, like, when you're on, if the creator has it so that you can live stream to your channel at the same time, then you have to click something, and we'll talk about it offline.
This hero, this
I got
this
something
paragon
else
of our
for you
culture
too. I got something else for you. I think you're going to be really excited about.
Have a heart attack. And I think it almost took him out of office. My history's a little fuzzy there, but that was the beginning of the medical system and the American Heart Association and the American Medical Association beginning to vilify cholesterol, and then in connection with that, animal fats. That's the beginning of the problem. Then we have the stories of Ansel Keys and the 7-country study, which we can go into. But if we back up again for a moment and we look at the health of the population early 1900s, described that a little earlier, pretty darn good. I mean, I don't think everybody had amazing diet.
Okay, so seed oil is bad. Okay, all right, yeah, we got that. All right, so let's go to the what did you send it to me? It was your I had it up, son of a biscuit. Let me go and click on it again. 1 second. There it is.
Is Benghazi here? I thought I saw him.
Benghazi Rabbit.
Yeah.
Wait, is this the one that we just? Yeah, this is the one we just watched with the margarine.
Yeah,
we already watched it. Okay.
So we watched that. So all that I had left, as far as us talking about whatever, is I mentioned a little bit about the situation that's going on with my mother, and so I sent you a picture of the individual address that we sent, or that was sent something to him. I don't know exactly what she sent, and then we discovered 2 numbers that person is reaching out to her from. Now, I'm just going to say, yeah, it's definitely a scammer for sure. Absolutely, no question.
Freaking India too.
No, Spain. Well, at least that's where she sent it to Spain. So it's Madrid.
Gotcha.
But I haven't, and I didn't know. Like, I was like, well, how would I do this if I'm going to try to call him on the phone or on the call or whatever? Clickbait, all that stuff. I wasn't really thinking about doing that, but I was just thinking that maybe if we possibly had a few people that were interested in that and they wanted to see also, because on off the air, I might do the same thing. Put a little heat on this person. You'd be surprised what happens when people start getting random calls from people.
I see it now.
Are cared about. Other people. So, and I threw it out there originally because my concern was like, well, if somebody's doing bad stuff, which I've determined is happening, and they have made it so that I can capture a number and or an address, and we start doing whatever we have the resources to do, and we put it out there, then so be it. But I'll leave it for your discretion.
Well, no, I mean, let's talk this out. Continue to talk this out. I'm gonna do a little bit. Actually, you know what? Why don't we save that question? Are you able to come back for the show with Catherine Henry?
Okay, yeah, absolutely.
It's gonna be, so we're gonna end the show here.
Oh, good. I see what you're saying. You said pose it for her.
Yeah, have her ask her. I maybe she doesn't want to opine. She's not, who
Yeah.
knows? We could just get her like, and that might not even be her area of expertise. But I mean, do we have the First Amendment right to out someone that seems to be doing some kind of criminal enterprise from a foreign country? I mean, how
Yeah,
could we get in trouble? I mean, it's not like they're going to extradite us to frickin' Madrid, right?
And I told you this already that so I proactively discovered all of this information. You know, my sister
Mhm.
said this is what happened. We figured out what she actually did without knowing exactly what my mom did, and then I began my own research, and I
Mhm.
couldn't even stop the package from getting there, knowing that it shouldn't have been sent in the first place.
Mhm.
Right? I couldn't stop it because it's international mail.
Yeah.
So I mean, like you said, sometimes we are doing the right things, and we have to worry about being legal. I mean, you know, guns. The criminal is not going to care
Yeah.
about the law if they're, you know, out to try to destroy and pillage.
Kind of
But
makes you feel like a
we worry
sucker,
about
doesn't
those.
it?
I mean, yeah, on many levels it does. And I do keep it in perspective, and I totally understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
But because I can't brood on the fact that these things occur, we just have to figure out how to get around it, right? To adapt
Well,
and overcome.
Craig, I don't know if you have the same kind of odd luck that I seem to have, but I see people zipping by me all the time, and they never seem to really get pulled over, driving like idiots, not using their blinkers, weaving in and out, 3-lane traffics, no blinker. The second I make a turn without a blinker,
bam,
woo! Yeah, it's like, I mean, don't get me wrong. I've been lucky, I've I treat the officer with respect and dignity, and luckily I've, knock on wood, haven't had my skull caved in and getting dragged out of a car. I'm not saying it doesn't happen because I've seen plenty of videos that says it does. But I don't know, man. It's kind of weird. It's like whenever I go to a bar, it doesn't matter if I'm drinking or not. My face seems to have punch appeal. People think that they just want to give it a shot. And you can ask my wife, it doesn't work out well for them, but someday it might not work out well for me, especially the older I get.
I guess the alternative would for it to have sit appeal. That used to happen to me back in the day.
Yeah, it's like, as long as I got a face, little lady, you'll always have a seat.
Yep.
All right, Craig. Thanks for classing it up. I'm sorry, HTW. I apologize. So, okay, so do we have any questions, any thoughts, or any comments about if you'd like to opine, what do you think it would be for us to put out the information of some well, I mean, this number could be a spoof too. The address could be a drop-off place to somebody's house.
Sure.
They might be working as a second-hand, kind of like a courier, like they do here in the United States. And I'm not going to ask what was in the package. I'm not going to ask for anything that you're not willing to offer, or anything like that. I don't know how expensive.
Well, I'll tell you.
Whatever it was.
Okay. I'll tell you. So I know we probably have, I don't know how many more minutes we have, but
we have at least a half an hour.
Okay. All right. So this is a short story. So first of all, so my mother divorced my father many years ago. So she raised me as a single child or a single parent, along with my sister. And for many years of her life, she dated, but it wasn't anything substantial. Fast forward to her current status in life now. When I was a child, I played basketball at the YMCA in Anderson, Indiana, where I was born. And I had a coach. He was my coach. And when my mother was talking about this person, I had no idea what his name was, et cetera, et cetera. And we all hung out and met and had dinner. And I kept looking at him. I'm like, you look so familiar. And he was like, well, I'm like, he started talking about basketball. I was like, did you coach basketball? And he was like, yeah. I'm like, you were my coach at the Wilson's Boys Club, not YMCA. It turns out that he was him. So this person who my mother is with now, I call him coach because he was my coach back in the day. So he now protects his baby, he calls it. He's watching over my mother, making sure she's not getting any random calls, all these kind of things. And so he basically has discovered this number that was coming through her phone, the types of messages and texting and all that stuff that she was talking to, and kind of gave this information to me. So it's from the horse's mouth, so to speak, that we know where the number came from. I don't believe it's just some random number, and they could be using Google numbers, all that stuff, but it's the number that has been texted to my mom and maybe even talked to whenever he's not around or we're not able to protect her from these criminals. So hopefully that gives you the rundown of what it is. So.
Doesn't it really make you angry too, Craig?
Yes,
that
sir.
Someone's messing with your mom. It makes it makes you forget that you're a Christian for a couple of minutes and figure out what shallow grave you're going to hide somebody's thing in. So we do have a question from the Walrus. I don't know if you saw this last. So you want to read that one right there from Howard County Observer?
I learned a new word today. Bilking is an informal verb that means to cheat or trick someone, especially by taking money. I've heard that term before, actually. Bilking, or maybe I'm thinking of milking, but maybe people mean bilking.
Yeah, bilking somebody out of money. Yeah, when you get bilked. Yep. All right, there's a question right here.
Why do we not petition the government to cut aid to countries that take advantage of our citizens to the tune of billions of dollars if the other country does not stop the crime? Now, you know what? I think that's a fascinating approach to, I mean, money always makes people, change on some level, right? So what would it take for us to say, we know that this activity is happening in these countries, in these cities, whatever, blah, blah, and yeah, we're gonna sanction you. We're gonna sanction you. That's a great question. I like it.
That's actually a brilliant idea. Like India in particular, just sanction the crap out of them. Don't trade with them. Don't allow them to have commerce. I mean, at some point in time, though, really soon, our dollar didn't mean shit. So they'd probably, BRICS, I think, is the new thing on the horizon, and by design. So the interesting thing is my government's going to protect me, but it can't stop spam callers saying, "Oh, Donald Trump and blah blah blah, and you got to give money, and we need money." I'm like, dude, I know you're not Donald Trump, and stop spamming me. I get like 5 or 6 like every 3 hours. Either that or somebody took my phone number and signed me up for something that was like, oh, I'm a Republican, so make sure you send me all this campaign shit. That wouldn't surprise me. That's why I say be careful who you give your number to, folks.
Yeah,
you got to be real careful who you give your number to. Even if I didn't like somebody, I would never dox that kind of stuff or do any kind of shady stuff like that. But all right, so hopefully we answered that question. That's actually a brilliant idea, and that's something that should be maybe put before some senator or a congressman or somebody in the legislature. So just throw up. Oh, we do have Rabbit. Craig was asking if Rabbit was in the channel. The special agent Lion interview used bilking in it. There you go. Yeah, you're bilking the taxpayers with a pork barrel spending or some weird like scientific like studies on things. Yeah. So
I mentioned Benghazi because when I first introduced the fact that I wanted to talk about this, talk about it is one thing, but honestly, I would be thrilled if from our conversation about it and people seeing whatever, they're like, I know the exact person who you would want to get in contact with, or we hashtag whatever. And those guys that do scamming videos, they caught hold of it. But the reality is, I see, and I have a couple of different videos that I did on the young lady in Cleveland. And when I see somebody who, for whatever reason, mental issues, those kind of things, particularly if they are Black and woman, sometimes I see my mother in that same situation, or my sister, or my aunt, or, something like that. So I can relate to individuals who get there. And so when I thought about it, I was like, if somebody had information that would allow them to be able to put a stop to it, then I'm all for getting it out there. Let somebody, help me do whatever I need to do. So that's where my heart is.
Absolutely. So here's a little bit of justice. And, Madrid, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, does have a bit of a Muslim enclave in it, as does India and a few of these other dirtbag places. So with respect, I have no respect for most cultures because, no, not all cultures are equal. Some cultures are absolute dog shit. And if you don't believe me, just look at places around London right now. There's trash all over the ground, just like the shitholes that these people came from.
Today, we're going to expose this entire scam call center. These scammers are absolutely clueless. They have no idea I hacked their CCTV security cameras, gained access to all of their computers, and now it's time to send someone to their exact location.
Wow.
Throw a stink bug in there. Or a stink, what do they call the stink thing?
All right, so I found this scammy looking website right here by Googling for Microsoft's phone number. And
Okay, so Benghazi Rabbit says you can post the address just without any names associated to it, referred to it as a scammer den, or something of the sort in public service announcement to not send any mail to said address.
Okay, I like it.
We'll look into that a little bit more as well, and we'll bounce that off of. Let's try to remember that. Hopefully, Rabbit will be for the next show too, and he can bring that up.
this
In
thing
case
was
we
the
forget.
first result. And when I clicked on this website for the first time, I spotted something that would immediately help my investigation.
I'm not trying to pick on this guy, but he definitely sounded like he would have been shoved into a locker in my high school days. And I would have protected him. I would have stuck up for him. Just for the record, I say make shoving kids into lockers great again. And I don't mean that in a negative way, because it gives people a chance to protect other people, and that builds character. But it also gives the person that's getting, dealt with that way a chance to stiffen their spine a little bit. If you continue to bubble wrap the world for people, the second something a little too heavy comes at them, they're going to fall apart. GS
So,
meant to hit. Go ahead.
Sorry, I'm going to put a pin in it, like you say. And I never talked to you about this, but I've heard you say that statement before, and I think you and I should do a small little portion about talking about that.
Talking about bullying.
Yes, bullying. Yes,
and the fact that, listen, I was kind of a nerd. I was kind of weird, man. Yeah, we can talk about that too, but just a little bit of background on me. I was kind of like the guy who had friends from all aspects. Like, I wasn't like clicked up. I mean, I was a jock. I mean, I did football from 8 years old all the way through high school, joined the Army, became a paratrooper, all that kind of stuff. So you look at me like I'm that typical, jock, but I was always like, I did Magic the Gathering. I did a lot of collecting. I collected comic books. I was a bit of a nerd. So I was like intelligence, but also some gruffness. So I had a little bit of Neanderthal lizard brain stuff going on, but I also had some more abstract thinking going on as well. So I think I have an interesting perspective from it, from like all different avenues of it. But I'd love to have that.
I feel like I do along the same lines of what you were just describing. And I remember you saying something about it before, and I was thinking in my mind, either we can talk about it, like we do sometimes with different subjects, or we can talk about it together. So.
Hey, you got Auditing While Black in your channel. I think he's in the Philippines, right?
He was in Thailand, I think.
Thailand.
Yeah,
okay.
he's overseas. I think.
Oh man, I don't feel sorry for him at all, dude. I bet he's got some good food, dude. What's that conversation? Or what's the conversation? Well, we talked about doxing, and we're gonna fully develop this story later on, where Craig has a mother that's dealing with dementia, and she likely got scammed to send some package over to Madrid. And Craig's trying to figure out whether or not it's justified to be able to put that information out and try to get people to kind of put pressure on them to stop scamming. Not a call to action as far as violence or anything like that, or threats, but just to kind of like let them know, hey, people know who you are, where you are, what you're doing, and you need to stop, kind of thing. So we're trying to look into that, and we have a constitutional lawyer coming on this show at 12. So 12 Eastern. So within what?
Like 48 minutes.
48 minutes. Yeah, sometime in 48 minutes. So hopefully you'll join us there. And if you have any questions that you want to ask a constitutional lawyer, feel free to do so. Siege D, dude, you shouldn't be. I should be giving you money, man. Good morning, GS. How do you like Glenn Lawrence? I love the show, man. It was fun. We talked. Actually, he and I talked for like an extra hour after everyone else got off, and I really did enjoy it, Siege. For those of you that didn't, maybe we can put the link in there. So look up mods, if you could look up Glenn Lawrence show, and maybe throw a link in there. Definitely recommend following him. He's been on the Andrew Wilson show. He's done some acting and stuff like that. He's been in some movies. Really decent dude, and he knows some people that I'll just say that there's somebody I'm very interested in having on High Noon, and her name is Pearl. So I'm going to try to work some back channels and see if I can't get her to be on an interview with me. And it's so ironic that I said that about a month and a half or 2 months ago. I said I want to get Pearl Daly on my show, especially because of the fact that she's being canceled. I wanted to give her a venue, and I know that was like shooting for the moon. But you know what? Sometimes you got to manifest things, right, Craig?
Absolutely. If you put it out there, you know, you just need to be prepared for when it happens.
yeah. And I mean, if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. So, all right. So I'm going to stop sharing this, and I'll stop sharing this, and I'm gonna end here in a little bit so that you and I can talk offline, because I want to turn you on to something really interesting, Craig, that might help your show dramatically. It's dramatically. It's like it's a new word there. It's dramatically and drastically all in one.
I like it.
So, other than Wild Black saying FAQ, what's good?
Yeah, it's always good to see him, and I love his. And in fact, he probably knows exactly what we're talking about, because we talked about my SSA journey on his show. He was like one of the first.
I remember that. I watched it.
So, yeah, so and I really do appreciate the love that he gives. He has a great show, great audience. He's put in a ton of content, and he just recently hit 10,000. So congrats to him.
Oh, congratulations, Auditing Wild Black. Congratulations. Yeah. Mods, if you can throw a link to his channel. Also, Craig, do you have your SSA adventures in a playlist for people to just go check out? Is that something you'd be willing to do in the next couple of days? So maybe people can go to your channel and kind of get up to par with what you're talking about, and they can kind of see the Odyssey.
Yeah, absolutely. I have it in, I think it's called the First Amendment Audit playlist, but I think I can break it out. Because I have a couple of different ones, so it's a good point. I probably can break it out so people can see it and get to it.
Yeah, I encourage you guys to go. Yeah, I encourage you guys to go check that out. Check out what Craig's got going on over there, what he's cooking with, because I'm thinking it's country crock. Stop it! Butter, unsalted. Now here, and I'm explaining to you why you want unsalted butter as a chef. If you want to receive this, okay. So salt masks and preserves, right? Okay, so it's a preservative. It also changes the flavor of things, right? So the older cream, they would add salt to it to help preserve it.
Okay.
So if you get unsalted butter, you're getting a fresher product, first off. Second off, as a chef, you want to be able to control the salt content of whatever your food is, right?
Okay.
What's up, U-Haul? Good to see you. So you can salted butter. It'll go over the top, man. If you add salt to salted butter, anything that you have salted butter in. So that's just kind of my shtick on that.
Got you.
So, all right, man. What do you want to talk about? So next time we're going to talk about the virtues, extolling the virtues of shoving kids into lockers, and how people, it kind of reminds me of the. Of that clip, in what was it, Gladiator?
Yeah.
With Russell Crowe. You remember when that German guy threw the head and he's Kalavakufa, whatever, and the guy was like, people should know when they're beaten. And Russell Crowe's character said, would you? Would I? You know what I mean? None of us would give up, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of.
I have to revisit that show. I remember it being a great show, but I don't remember that part that you're talking about. But
yeah,
so we're going to put it on the calendar. That's that is on the calendar.
Yeah, next Tuesday, frequently asked questions with Craig and yours truly, and we're going to discuss the virtues or the not so good virtues. I'm not sure exactly where Craig stands on this. He's an enigma wrapped in a mystery.
I don't know if that's good or bad, but
well, I mean,
we seem to vibe just fine the way that we are. So I think a little mystery with regards to where I am on it. And I know that you and I will have a good conversation about it, and you might be surprised about it. So
awesome.
I'm looking forward to it.
So Siege D says also, Dove, Foxtrot 73, since you are now a mod for Glenn, another one of our regulars is called Lord Venom. He's a troll, but he's our troll. Just giving you a heads up when you're back in Glenn's chat. So, and don't ban him is what he's saying. So you got to say it 3 times. All right. So I don't not seeing any other questions. Is there anything else that popped up in your mind in general, or what's been going on in the last? Oh, somebody said something about another bridge. The Golden Gate Bridge has been shut down in protest. I'm gonna look something up like that while you're chatting.
Okay. Yeah, I hadn't heard anything. No, I mean, I'm thankful for the audience that you and I have, and the ones that started with you for certain, and that trickled over to my channel. I really appreciate the love. I enjoy conversing with you about different things. Our high points, our low points, all in between. To me, it's something that we have been growing with each other. So, and with the chat and all the people, I feel the love whenever anybody watches my videos and chats, and so I'm here until to what they say, to the wheels fall off. So
Yeah, ride or die.
Ride or die. So I'm just learning along with everybody else. So
yeah, and just understand that there may be things that I'll do to tick somebody off, and I tell people this whenever they come to my channel, like, "Oh, I like what you're saying." I'm like, "Yeah, wait 5 minutes, you'll hate my guts for about 10 minutes, and then maybe you'll get over it and go, oh yeah, I agree with what he just said there." So don't throw the baby out completely with the bathwater. So here we go. We're going to share this. So Auditing While Black had the question of, are you guys simultaneously streaming? Yes. And if you're interested in checking out the Catherine Henry video, High Noon, that's going to be on at 12 o'clock here. So in about a half hour, a little over a half hour, 40 minutes or so. You have to follow my channel because it'll be on that channel. So hopefully I'll see you there, Auditing While Black. And if you have any questions, you don't have to pay money. You just got to have big capital question, and then whatever your question is. So it makes it easier for me to see it, as I don't really have a producer. And Craig, if you see any comments in the chat that you want to respond to, feel free to chime in. All right, here we go.
I see Macanucci.
Macanucci, who's that?
Lord have mercy.
I see what you're saying. Brown chicken, brown cow. Okay, I see what you're saying. Wow.
And following that breaking news out of San Francisco again, we want to take you live out to this again, because this video is showing activists protesting the war in Gaza. Right now, the southbound lanes of the Golden Gate Bridge are shut down. You can see a lot of authorities on scene here. We've been watching this video, and it appears that these protesters, you can see the man in the red shirt right there. They're sitting down on the ground. It appears they have their hands.
Go ahead.
They concreted themselves?
It's looking like something's going on there.
That's just dumb.
I mean, it's like, with respect, this is the new Antifa, the new Black Lives Matter. It's just the new cause du jour, and they pay Soros is paying these people to do all this disruption in our country. Dude, it's the same. It's the same, pretty much the same actors. And I'm not taking a stand pro or blah blah blah, or look, I think wars are pretty terrible, man. I've been in one directly. And so
in some sort of barrel, either filled with dirt or cement. This happened about 10:30. This started at 10.
Oh, okay. So what they did is they sealed this barrel. I just let them sit there and shit and piss themselves to death. That's what I would do. And then I would make like a monument, like a what do they call those when they make the statues? I don't know what they make them out of, but like a bronze statue. I do a bronze statue monument of these morons, like shitting and pissing themselves to death and just laying all deceased, and say, rest in stench. I mean, at some point in time, it's like, at some point in time, you got to send a message. Fuck around and find out.
30 hour time, dozens of protesters stopped their vehicles and blocked all the lanes, demanding the U.S. stop arming and funding Israel in the war with Gaza. This is still going on. You can see again a lot of.
And look at this. This is what I'm talking about. Why the hell do we have to look? These are criminals. What these people are doing is criminal. Look right here where my mouse is. They've got a shield. They're trying to jackhammer this thing apart, right? To break it open. And they're protecting.
You never know when something bad is going to happen. Like you break their arm or something. Maybe they're shielding it from that. Who knows?
But no, I mean, they don't want any particulars. They don't want any debris to get in her face, because then they'll get sued. Fuck this idiot, dude. I mean, seriously. With respect, man, my tolerance for freaking people like this, I'm sorry. They're fucking communists. This is exactly what these people are. They're fucking communists. There's a fucking left shore and a right shore. There's an east shore and a west shore. You don't like it in America? Start fucking walking into the water. You know, and there's a northern border and a southern border. You don't like where the fuck you're living? Start walking. I'm tired of it, man.
Emergency responders here. The protesters still.
I mean, if they care so damn much about a war in Palestine and Israel, why don't they fucking volunteer to go over there and fucking fight instead of blocking commerce in our fucking country?
Sitting here, we are watching them as they're working to get these protesters' arms freed out of these barrels. We're going to continue to watch this and bring you any updates from the live center.
She's already pissed herself like 3 times. I wouldn't, man. I'd be like, there you go. We'll just wait till you fucking deceased, and then we'll just plow you over with a frickin' with a bulldozer. We'll just scrape you off the concrete. I'm sorry. At some point in time, I understand as a Christian, all human life has intrinsic value, right, and worth. But I think these people have been given over to a reprobate mind. So yeah, scorched earth. Any thoughts? Go ahead. Pull me back from the brink there, Craig.
I mean, I'll just let it be. Your statements stand by themselves.
As in, you disavow, Craig?
No. I what do you say? I neither. I don't know what people say.
I neither agree nor disagree.
Nor disagree.
Yes, I neither confirm nor deny.
Nor deny. So I don't want. I'm not. If there's a fire to be fueled, the fuel didn't come from me. And if there's anything else to add, then. I'll just.
So none your business says why. That's a great question. Why? Here we can talk about this for a second. Why do you believe that protesting? Why do you believe protesting moronic? It is what got us our rights. I mean, that's kind of a good question. You kind of got me there in a sense. I mean, if I'm being objectively honest, I think when you block traffic. Okay, let me ask you this question. None your business. How would you feel if your mom or your wife or your daughter or your son were in an ambulance trying to get to the hospital for life-saving procedures, and some fucking jackasses encased themselves in a fucking obstacle to prevent the only avenue for your kid or your loved one to get to the hospital, and they die in the ambulance? How are you going to fucking feel about that particular type of protest? So the question's back at you, none of your business. How would you feel? See, a lot of people say back the blue until it happens to you, right? Well, same situation. What if somebody's blocking your ability to get to? Okay, let's say none of your business. You're in a fucking car, and you're trying to head to work, and you know that if you're late even once, you're gonna get fired. Let's say you're living paycheck to paycheck, none of your business. And now you can't afford to pay your mortgage. Now you're in the rears. Now there's even more stress on your marriage. Your wife leaves you or fuck some guy from work because he's got a better trajectory than you. How do you feel about those protesters now? None of your business. Are you still like, oh, I'm glad they fucked my marriage up. I'm really glad I lost my job so that they could sit out there like fucking retards and block fucking traffic and not find a better way to fucking do it?
She would be better off. She would be better off being opposed to that state being an at-will state and being able to fire you for any reason at all. And she most likely would not be in the situation where she was late enough times that the one more time caused her to lose her job. But to her point, on some level, I think I understand the question. I'm sure.
I'm sorry. Was that a female? I apologize.
Oh, it could be. It could be a dude. I don't know. But
I'd be a little more gentle if that was the case.
Either way, I mean, it's a fine line between. It is. It's a fine line between our rights, what they are, and what you are able and can and should do in order to accomplish change, right? And in the scenario, which may be one-offish that you posed, of course we would all be pissed off if that was the situation. But
it's very anecdotal.
Yeah, and I think I would err on the side of our rights versus no rights. I mean, me personally.
Well, do you have the right to get to work? Isn't it codified and ratified that you have a right to freely travel, unencumbered and uninhibited? So when someone else's rights interfere with your rights, that's where their fucking rights stop, Craig. That's codified and ratified.
Well, no, absolutely. So we're distinguishing between the right to do something and the illegality of how they're doing it. Obviously, standing in the street is the illegal portion of what they're doing, but their right to protest still remains to be in existence. We all would just disagree with how they're doing it.
Time, place, and manner.
Absolutely. So I mean, I think that's the bone that we pick with it.
My little Ellie dog is whining at me to want to go out, and I just text him out. You might hear kind of like, so hold on. Yeah. What are you doing, Hans? I know, baby girl. So no, I mean, it's a great question, and I apologize if I came off a little aggressive. It's, it's the Neanderthal alleles that are actually legitimately in my body. So yeah, I crawled out of a cave. There, Mama's coming to let you out, honey.
It's the part that we love the extremes, but being able to bring it to, the center. So, I mean, like you say to me all the time, don't apologize for being who you are. You just become you in and of yourself, being the being that you are, strive to be better. So you're not just going to be that extreme person all the time. And sometimes we see it, but as long as we can talk about it, then I think we're good.
Mm-hmm.
So kudos to you.
Yeah, I mean it's a thought-provoking question. I mean, it's not. I mean, there's nuance to it, but it's like anyone that's like, well, you're either okay with this all the way, or you're an enemy. You know what I'm saying? And that's where I have an issue. It's like you and I have the ability to kind of meet in the middle and go, okay, yeah, I kind of see what you're talking about there. And my initial knee-jerk response to it is, I can give the what ifs all day long, but it's demonstrable that they're disrupting commerce. And somebody would make the argument, well, sometimes you have to disrupt commerce to get the attention of the whole political arm of everything, because money talks, right? But when someone says, like, even if we lose one life, it's an injustice. Okay, well, what about the lives that the thousands of lives that you're affecting negatively by doing what you're doing? If you don't like things, there's ways to motivate, there's ways to aggregate, there's ways to accumulate, and there's ways to put it forth into law and get laws put on the books, hopefully. Let's see, Auditing While Black says, most people do nothing. At least you're not doing nothing, right? Yeah, I mean, yeah. So I mean, but what I'm saying, there's ways to put pressure where you're not pissing off the people around you that want to get out of that. I mean, it's getting to the point where people are sick and tired of people blocking traffic, and I'm seeing people running people over. Cars are for the road, and if you're not in the damn crosswalk traveling to get to the other side, GTFO the road.
What if they decided to? What if they decided to
endlessly
break down in a car in the middle of the road, five across from each other? And
okay, so if a tow truck comes, if a tow truck comes and impounds your vehicle, if that happens enough, I guess what? It's going to get real damn expensive, won't it?
Well, but so a tow truck wouldn't necessarily, like, if you break down in the middle of the road, quote unquote break down in the middle of the road, you're not going to necessarily get towed.
Well, it's semantics. Did you break down, or you pretended to break down out of protest?
No, I mean, true.
And
right?
if you are broken down, then we call a tow truck and we get you out, because we have to maintain that artery. I mean, if you need a triple bypass, do you just say, oh, well, I guess my fat cells that are clogging up my arteries are in fucking protest to the food I'm putting in my belly, so I just got to ride or die this? Or do you go get it fixed? Do you get that blockage taken out in order for your blood to run again so you can live? It's the same thing. These are arteries within the heart of a city, or even you know what I'm saying? Like, so I mean, it's a great question though. I mean, it really is. But I mean, when you put it that way, I mean, the remedy is to clear the blockage, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, but ultimately, see, what I think honestly is that the things that they are doing, I feel like they can do more effective legal things that will accomplish change. My problem with it is that they do these things, and of course, by design, you may want to disrupt something that you feel should be disrupted, but don't do it illegally. So I'm saying find a better way to accomplish that shit. That's all I'm saying. Find a better way to do it.
Yeah, I agree. So none your business says you're good. Your point is valid. It's the frustration of our situation where the government employees are making decisions that don't back what the majority demands. What does the majority want? So, well, we're a republic, which makes us a representative democracy, as it were. A democracy is mob rule. So you got to be careful about the whole mob rule. Most people don't have a clue what's best for them, and they do want to be led. However, the abdication of the responsibility of actually going and representing the people that put you in office has been an issue. What's up, Jody? Dude, good to see you. That has been an issue, none of your business, and I'm not sure what the remedy for that is. Honestly, I'm really not. But the problem is mob rule is if we all everyone in this chat room right here all lived on the same street and we all got together and we said, you know what, Craig has too many nice things. Everyone on the street gets to go through Craig's house and take something that they want out of Craig's house. We voted.
They all have to deal with the consequences of that.
No. We voted. You're going to get voted off the island, buddy, because we voted, and we're a democracy, so mob rules. That's the danger of democracy, straight up pure democracy. It's the wolves voting on. It's two wolves voting on a field full of sheep. What's for dinner?
Well, we know that pure democracy, I think, is what you're describing. Doesn't necessarily mean that the actions that everybody votes for is right. Pure democracy in and of itself doesn't mean that it's right as a right action. Jim Crow, I mean, on and on are different things that we know we talked about. But I think what you're describing is there are scenarios where you can vote it to be so, but that doesn't mean that it's right. Right?
Well, yeah, moral and lawful and moral are two different things, man.
Sure.
It's that is true, and then there's been ebbs and flows all throughout the history of humanity. So that's another interesting topic that maybe you can put a pin in that for like a future conversation. If you want to throw that, and we can work on evolving that situation. That said, I'm going to give you last word because I'm going to start getting ready for Catherine Henry, and I hope to see you guys there. And I'll put the link in at the last second here, so that way I'm writing up some questions for her right now.
Yep.
So
so all of you all got here for reasons that are true to us and dear to us, so we appreciate it. My channel, FAQ the Madness. Generally Specific is a channel that we are on. I did test out how we were doing with regards to me streaming on both sides. I'll tweak that out. I'll subscribe to the duct tape production. That's the duct tape production side of what I'm doing. But till next week when we talk about whatever subject we're in. It sounds like we might be talking about locker shoving. Make locker shoving great again.
Make shoving kids into lockers great again. It's got to be kids, because you try to shove you in a locker, it's going to be hard, dude.
It's going to be a different story.
Absolutely.
And I guess you and I are going to stay on afterwards.
Yep, just for real super briefly.
Yeah.
I'm getting ready to put the link up here. I'm just letting you know that it's not up yet. It's not going yet, guys. It'll be going at 12 o'clock, and I think it'll take you out of the channel. So with that, I'd like to thank my co-host, Craig. Always a very interesting conversation. First off, I do have some inlets into the quote-unquote manosphere, into the red pill, into the Christ pill kind of avenue that Siege D is someone that you should look into as well. If he wants to collaborate with you with anything, Craig, I would jump on it. He's got some really good connections. He actually does a lot of the he produces for like Fresh and Fit and Access Vegas and a lot of the different things. So Siege D, if he sees something about you, what's up Tim, good to see you. If he sees something about you and he says he wants to introduce you to someone, pay attention, because for me, I kind of like eyes glazed over it while I was trying to do my show and I didn't understand completely. And you have to kind of hit me in the head with a 2x4 and say, pay attention. So Glenn Lawrence is somebody that's a very interesting person to talk to. I think we need more representation of, with respect, people with more melanin in these spheres, and a different perspective. And I think it would be good to have you on shows. You can't be timid though, man. You're gonna have to grab those cojones, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And be like a raging bull sometimes. That said, we'll talk. Well, yeah, absolutely. I hope we did a little bit better this episode. I hope Craig got to talk a little bit more. That smooth jazz voice, as it were. And I'll just stand by here, and I'll go ahead and sign us out. And let me put the link here, guys, and we'll see you over there soon.
Thanks, everybody.
All right.
The only thing that enrages me is when you hear people say, you must believe me. I have no obligation to believe anybody. You have an obligation, if you want me to believe you, to prove what you're saying. I have a right to ask simple, fair questions. How do you know that? How can I trust that? And if you don't give me those answers, then I just don't believe you. And I don't have to believe you. And if your recourse is, you're a bad person for not believing me, fuck you.